Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back to the MS Workouts channel. Last week, we posted a video guiding you through some really powerful beginner exercises to help you walk and improve your mobility for the new year. Due to lots of requests from you all, we're going to do a part 2 of that video so that you can get even better results through exercises to help improve your mobility. But before we begin, I would like to remind you that we are celebrating this brand new year offering a unique payment plan so you can pay for the yearly membership in monthly installments of $39 per month. But again, you have to commit to the entire year. The payment plan is available only until Sunday, January 15th. So use it now before it expires. This is the best deal of the year. It's not going to come back available for you, okay? So be a part of this 2023 with us. Our members have seen crazy results with improvements in mobility, energy, foot drop, and so many more, such as Valerie, who literally got off of her cane after using MS Workouts for 2 months, okay? And all you have to do is exercise 1 to 3 times per week and you can get the same results as well. If you want to pay for the annual membership plan in monthly installments, as I mentioned, just go to www.msworkouts.com and select the monthly installments that's underneath that annual membership plan. Now, let's go ahead and shift gears into this week's workout video. We're going to be strengthening the muscles that will help you directly improve your mobility so you can rely less on those assisted devices. All you're going to need for today's workout is a chair, a progress journal that you can download in the description box below, and some resistance, okay, like bands, dumbbells, if you haven't, right? Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that you can be notified when our latest videos drop, and leave us a like after the video if you enjoyed it. You ready to do this? Let's go. Welcome to part 2 of improving your mobility so you can get rid of that walker or assisted device. In this new year, we're going to execute 4 exercises here today. We're going to start with a metabolic squat. Then we're going to roll into a couple more that target specific areas that are going to help improve your mobility with that lower body. Make sure that you have your progress journal. If you don't yet, hit the pause button in the description box below. You can download one or go ahead and grab a piece of paper because it's super important to notate and write down your results after the exercise set so you can be as measured as possible to gain the best results. Ready to do this? Let's get after it. Okay, we're going to execute a metabolic squat. So we're starting with a big compound movement in your lower body, quadriceps, glutes. This is going to really enable you to get the most out of your exercise and then vigorously focus on that recovery process. Okay, so we're going to come up off the chair. If you need another chair or a countertop or something in front of you to help stabilize yourself, please feel free to use it, okay? The goal is muscle failure here. You're going to come up into the air. We want to drop hips down, stay through heels, grab a hold of counter if you need to. Clock is on. Now, the entire time here, we are working our quadriceps and the glutes. Now, the quadriceps or thighs are those big muscles in the lower body that are going to help you go up and down stairs, going to help you have more mobility and stability with that lower body, and ideally get off of that cane, that walker assisted device, right? You can do this. The goal is muscle failure, so it's simply the point where you can no longer hold in place. When you get to the point where you cannot hold yourself, you simply go to the chair, notate the time above me, and then just jump back in with your very best effort, right? And we'll write down that outcome or that number at the end. You're squeezing the thighs, squeezing the rear end, reminding yourself that you're doing this because you want to improve that mobility, because you can improve that mobility as long as you're progressively overloading and challenging the muscles, aka exercising. So it should be challenging. Do not beat yourself up here. Give yourself grace. If you've already reached muscle failure and you could not continue with continuously contracted and loaded muscle, then you did it. That's success. We are in the last 30 seconds. That's what we call the exhaust range. And this is where, if the difficulty is appropriate, you should reach muscle failure, okay? Calm in that mind, breathing freely. Whoo, a deep burn through those thighs, keeping the back flat. You shouldn't feel discomfort in your knees or your back at this point. You should just feel a deep burn in those thighs. No more than 10 seconds here. Just think about breathing freely, staying through the heels, back is flat, dropping shoulders, calm in the mind. Whew, I am done at 127. I'm gonna jump back in. 1 and done. Holy moly. Muscles were done. So I'm gonna come to my trusty progress journal here. I'm gonna write down underneath the squat, 127. Body weight was my resistance. And I'm gonna write okay and circle it because I fully exhausted, reached muscle failure, so I successfully did it. If you completed the entirety of the set, it's time to increase the difficulty. So make sure you add a resistance band, a dumbbell, or just leave a comment in the comment box below if you don't know how to increase the difficulty of the set. Ready to keep it rolling? Let's go ahead and do it. All right, we're gonna execute a metabolic, my apologies, what we call a dynamic, abduction. So we just focused on the thighs and the rear end. We're now gonna focus on the abductors and a little bit of what's called the glute min. We're gonna go a dynamic set, which is the contraction and then the lengthening of the muscle tissue. We're gonna start in the fully contracted position of the abductors or glutes, We're gonna initiate movement in 2, 1, clock is on. So we're heading in, 7 seconds each direction is the ideal tempo. 2, 1, now transition back the other direction. If you wanna loop a band around your thighs here, to give yourself 2, pause, 1 more difficulty or exercise or stimulus during the exercise itself, please feel free to do so. The goal is muscle failure on this exercise. So you want to get to the point where you can no longer go all the way back out to that starting position or fully contracted muscle of the abductors or glute min. That's going to ensure that the clearest stimulus of overloading the muscle has been sent to the body, which is going to lead to the best results. Now, targeting these abductors and this glute min is going to help with strengthening your hips, which is an important part of mobility and injury resistance, and getting away from that cannulated assisted device, It's going to improve that walking. As we head up, you're squeezing the glutes, pausing, and then heading back in. Now we're in the exhaust range, final 30 seconds. If and when you get to the point where you can't continue through the full range, you notate that time, pat yourself on the back, knowing you successfully did it, and then just jump back in with your best effort. More than likely, your output or your ability during this set is going to start to decline. You're not going to continue to be able to do as much as you were at the beginning. That's a good thing. That's what the challenge is. That's what the challenge is, Is to progressively challenge the body, give your best effort, which leads to the best results. For 2, 1, and relaxing, disengaging. I'm going to go to my trusty progress journal here. I did not reach muscle failure, so I'm going to write 130 body weight. And I'm going to write plus. I need to add a resistance band next time. Add difficulty next time to this exercise. Seated and going dynamic wasn't quite enough for me to prompt the best results, Now we're gonna go into an exercise that targets the hamstrings, so the posterior side of that lower body, which is gonna help with posterior stability of the knee and or that walking gait, All right, let's go ahead and rock and roll. We're gonna execute a dynamic leg curl and leg extension. So you want to scoot towards the front of your chair. I want you to also think about taking your shoe off, your sock off, reduce the friction as much as possible on the floor. You could also put a piece of paper underneath your feet as you move through the range. And when we move through this range of motion, our heels are coming all the way underneath the chair and then all the way back out. So we're actually working the hamstrings as you pull under and the quadriceps as you extend out. Taking what you can and giving your best effort. You ready to rock and roll? All right, come to full flexion, bring the heels all the way underneath. Clock is on. Gonna initiate movement out slowly, and as you extend, we're working the quadriceps of the thighs, thinking about slowly extending the knees all the way. You're gonna pause and then head back underneath. The hamstrings are being actively engaged, and you're simply drawing the feet underneath as far as you can during the range of motion. Pausing and then heading back out. The goal is muscle failure. So when you can no longer continue through the full range with this exercise, that's the successful end. You're gonna notate the time on the clock above, and you will go forward knowing you successfully did it, Pause and heading back out. Getting ready to go past the 45-second mark. Again, as mentioned, the hamstring is great for posterior stability of the knee, and it's going to improve the ability for you to have better balance and or coordination, dexterity during your walking gait. The next 15 seconds is gonna take us past that 60-second mark. If you're continuing with uninterrupted movement here and continue to keep the hamstring and quadricep loaded, then you are doing it, Giving your best effort, continuing to rock. That's what exercise is all about. We're in the final 30 seconds no matter what. As we come to the end point, you're gonna pause, slowly heading back under, getting ready to go past that 115 mark, looking to reach momentary muscle failure. You want to get to the point where you can no longer continue to move through the full range of motion. Breathing through it. Let's go one more final attempt to reach momentary muscle failure. Bringing heels underneath all the way to full flexion for 2, 1, and slowly relaxing. Once again, I completed the exercise set. So I'm gonna write 130. You may have reached muscle failure. You may have gotten to the point where you could not continue with that uninterrupted engagement of the muscle and movement. If you did, then great, you did it. Pat yourself on the back and write okay. I, on the other hand, need to increase the difficulty. So if you were able to complete the entirety of the set, you need to write a plus mark, circle it as well, 130, use body weight, and increase the difficulty next time on those hamstrings. All right, to wrap things up, we're going to add in a little bit more specificity into the walking gait today in this exercise, part 2 of lower body strength and increase or improvement of your mobility. And we're gonna add in a exercise for foot drop, which is an ankle extension and flexion. Simply give your best effort if you struggle with foot drop. That is the beauty of steady pace and this process, is that as long as you're giving your best effort and you're challenging yourself progressively, you will see results. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's get one more in. Here we go. All right, last exercise. We're gonna go a dynamic set. So I just want you to extend your legs out. We're focusing on the lower limb here. If you really struggle with foot drop, you can always take a towel or a band and place it underneath the forefoot, and you can help assist through the range of motion, letting your muscle do as much of the exercise as possible, right? Okay, let's go to the starting position. Bring the toes up as far as you can. I understand that if you struggle with foot drop, you may not be able to bring the toes all the way. That's okay. Come up as high as you can. Stabilize, hold. Now let's initiate movement out. Clock is on, and as you head out, you're thinking about pointing those toes. Full extension, we'll pause, and then we're going to transition heading back in. And as you come up with the foot, that is working the anterior tibialis, right, which is the muscle that allows you to get flexion out of that ankle. And again, if you struggle with foot drop, right, do not be hard on yourself right here. Utilize a towel or a band to assist you through the range of motion, allowing the muscle to do as much of the exercise as possible. Challenge yourself. Use that band or that towel as little as possible. And when you get to the point during this 90 seconds, this exercise, where you cannot continue with slow motion through the original range that you were executing, that's success. Notate the time so that when we are finished with the exercise set, you can be measured and know exactly what your output was, so that next time after you fully recover and you reapply, you can attempt to beat that time, right? That's where your strength is proven. We're heading back out, feeling a deep burn on the lateral side here, incorporating an exercise today that is the lower portion of that body, the lower limb. For 2, squeeze the top. 1, heading back out controlled. Foot drop is definitely something that hinders individuals' gait and ability to walk, so we want to make sure we're incorporating something into this part 2 that allows you to get blood flow, active engagement into that lower limb. For 2, 1, heading back out. Slow and deliberate. Let's go one more opportunity here. We'll pause, heading back the other direction. Best effort, breathing through it, and slowly disengaging. Yes, great effort right there. I got very close to reaching momentary muscle failure. Didn't quite, right? So I'm gonna write 130, plus mark, and know that I need to increase the difficulty of the exercise set. Make sure you are measured. Make sure you give your best effort, and understand that this exercise session today is that. It's exercise. It should be a high intensity. You should have challenged yourself. You should have been measured, record the outcomes, so that you can now focus vigorously on the recovery process the next 24 to 72 hours, depending on how well you engaged. If you need to increase the resistance and the difficulty because you're able to complete the exercises, then keep it exercise by increasing the difficulty, right? We don't just want it to be movement. Movement is now what's going to be executed in your active rest between the next exercise session. So 1 to 3 times a week is what typically is the rhythm of applying exercise, with vigorously focusing on the recovery process in between that, with adequate protein levels and active rest. Hit that like button, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week at our next exercise session. Take care. Our YouTube channel is a great place to start gaining strength, but if you want to get serious about reducing your symptoms and getting results, then you need to be on a weekly structured strength training program with other individuals just like you. And that's exactly what we offer at MS Workouts through our membership. Click the link in the video or below the video to learn how our membership can help you achieve your goals. And while you're on the website, make sure you sign up for the no-cost 7-day strength camp so you can experience how we can help you do the things that you love to do with more confidence. See you all next week.